Okay, now, we are back. Hold on. No, why did it change my title? Okay. Oh wow, toe cam. All right. Last week we made it through Genesis 1 through 24. So this week we're gonna pick back up where we left off. Yeah, perfect. Pastor Sav coming at you live. Okay. It's funny because my sister is an actual pastor. I wonder what she would think of this. It's Bible study time, you heathens. Alright, so Action Bible. Like I said before, this Bible was illustrated by somebody who worked at DC and Marvel. Pretty fire, pretty fire. Okay. Alright, so we made it through here, Insufficient Sons, Hagar's Journey, oh, well, the computer would have to be on, wouldn't it? Okay. The Stolen Blessing. All right, no, we're not here yet. Okay, Isaac and Rebecca. We did this. That's where we left off last time. So pretty much, he's like, whichever woman goes to fetch me some water is getting married. And then he asked Rebecca, could I have a drink? She said, I'll be glad to get you a drink, and I'll draw water for your camels too. And he's like, oh, she's the one. All right, so here we are right here. Birthright stew. Whoa. This is so good. All right. After a long and happy life, Abraham finally joins his wife in death. Yeah? Isaac leads Abraham's tribe to the burial cave of Machpelah to place the body of its great chieftain beside his wife, Sarah. But Isaac, like his father, has gone a long time without having any children. Rebekah is barren. We've tried every remedy known to man, and nothing has worked. Now I must pray to God and trust his promise. Barren. Barren. She is barren. Okay. Rebekah's barren. All right. Oh, wow. Y'all can see my fucking toesies. Yeah, so here we are. After a long and happy okay, yeah, we already did that. Rebekah's barren. We've tried every remedy known to man. The Lord answers Isaac's prayers and Rebekah becomes pregnant. Oh shit. We thought she was barren. But her pregnancy seems unusual. When they inquire of the Lord, he tells Rebekah that she is pregnant with twins. You will give birth to 2 nations. One will be stronger than the other, and the younger will rule the older. When Rebekah gives birth, her first son, reddish and hairy. They name him Esau, but clutching Esau's heel is Jacob, who does not want to be left behind. As the boys grow up, Isaac earns a reputation as a man who avoids conflict, but Isaac fails to see the conflict growing between his own twin sons. Which one will be our ruler after Isaac? My bangs are real floofy today. Esau is stronger, but Jacob is more clever. Esau has the birthright because he is the oldest. But I'd be surprised if Jacob doesn't do something tricky. If I were Isaac, I'd pay more attention to the competition between those 2 boys. One day when Esau returns with fresh food from hunting, Isaac praises him. Esau is a mighty hunter. Yes, he is strong as an ox and as dumb as one too. Jacob bides his time one morning during a hot spell. Esau sets out for a hunting trip. This is the chance Jacob has been waiting for. Esau will find game at the waterhole miles away from here. When he gets back from the long day's hunt, he'll be tired and hungry, and I'll be ready for him. Now, in the Bible, I was watching a video earlier today of these Mormons arguing with this guy about whether God hated Esau. And the Bible says God hates Esau like 2 or 3 different times. Okay, so Esau will find game, and I'll be ready for him. Okay, towards sundown, Jacob waits for his brother outside the camp. Here he comes without any game. Did he catch anything? Camp with its food is only a short distance away, but Esau is so hungry he can't wait. I'm starving. Give me some of the stew you're making. Will you trade your birthright for it? Oh, shit. Will you trade your birthright for some fucking soup? So, we're trading birthrights for soup. We're trading birthrights for soup. Yeah, I'm starving. Give me some of the soup, stew you're making. Will you trade your birthright for it? Well, that's a dumb question. Is a birthright tasty and filled with savory meat? I'll take the fucking stew. What? Here is the stew. Swear that your birthright is mine. I promise, the birthright is yours. I'm not dying of hunger. Let me eat. Here, eat all you want. Esau's birthright is mine. Someday I will inherit a double share of my father's wealth. I will rule the tribe, not Esau. It's lit. Hold on. Why is it saying I'm playing Call of Duty right now? Okay. Wow, that's crazy. It's the Bible. The Action Bible. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to fix this fucking horrendous angle. Okay. There we go. All right. Eat all you want. Esau's birthright's mine. Someday I will inherit a double share of my father's wealth. I will rule the tribe, not Esau. But Jacob has a long time to wait. His father is still strong and powerful. And Isaac grows older. It becomes clear that Esau is his favorite son. Jacob realizes that tricking Esau into giving him the birthright is not enough. Somehow he must convince his father to give him the family blessing as well. For all his trickery plots, Jacob can't disobey his father. His father Isaac is the head of the family. His mother Rebekah, however, is the brains. Isaac doesn't know that Jacob has already claimed the birthright that belongs to Esau. Find my son Esau and tell him I must see him right away. The Stolen Blessing, based on Genesis 27. You called me father. Isaac has grown old. His eyesight is failing. Now his eyes He decides it's time to give his older son the blessing that includes ruling the tribe. Yes, Esau, I'm old and tired. I don't know how soon I'll die. Bring me some choice venison and I will give you the blessing that seals your birthright. Why are we trading birthrights for food? Listen, Jacob, your father is getting ready. Oh, oops. Skip the whole paragraph. Rebecca hears what Isaac says and runs through the camp. Find Jacob. Tell him to come to my tent right away. Hurry. Listen, Jacob, your father's getting ready to give Esau the blessing. You must get that blessing on the birthright. The birthright Esau traded you means nothing. But what can I do? Go tell your father that you are Esau. He can't see a thing anymore, and he will bless you by mistake. But my skin is smooth, and Esau is really hairy. Father will touch me and know I am not Esau. I've thought of everything here. Put on Esau's fur robe. These skins on your arms and neck will make you feel like Esau. But what if... Do you want the birthright or not? If you do, then do as I say. If the plan fails, I'll take the blame with your father. You're right, Mother. Give me the food to take to Father. Father, I have brought you the meat you asked for. Eat and give me your blessings. How did you hunt the food so quickly? The Lord helped me. Yes, the Lord helps those who obey. Come near me so I can make sure you are my older son before I give the blessing. It's strange. The voice sounds like Jacob, but the hands are Esau's. Are you really Esau? Yes, I am. He will believe me. Question mark. He does. God give you the richness of the earth. Let the people serve you and nations bow down to you. Be master over your brothers. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you. No sooner has Isaac given the blessing that Jacob rushes out of his father's tent. Mother, the blessing is mine, but what will Esau do? No matter what Esau does, the blessing is yours. Not even your father can take it back now. But while Jacob and his mother are rejoicing, Esau returns. Hello, homewrecker. Esau prepares the meat and takes a large tray of it to his father. Father, eat the food I've brought you and bless me. Who are you? See, I wish I could. Okay, vengeful. Who am I? I'm Esau, your firstborn son. You told me to bring you some venison so that you could give me your blessing. Then who did I just bless? I've been deceived. Father, bless me too. Please bless me too. Please, 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 please. I can't. Once given, I cannot give the blessing to another. But Father, could you at least have another blessing for me? Only this, my son. By your sword shall you live and serve your brother. But one day you will break his yoke from your neck. What does that mean? Break his yoke from your neck. Trembling with rage, Esau leaves his father's tent. I'll kill Jacob for this. Stairway to Heaven, based on Genesis 27:41 through 28:22. Whew! I tell you what, brothers, it's getting freaking This action Bible's about to start actioning. Vengeful. Why? I need a new nickname for you, then. Dante. Oh yeah, that's right. Takashi. Takashi. Okay, Stairway to Heaven. And we're climbing a stairway to heaven. Ooh, ooh. Okay. Oh, that's great. That's a great angle. I think we did it this time, guys. All right. Esau is going to kill Jacob. Esau is just upset. Don't tell anyone what you heard. Find Jacob and tell him to come to me at once. Jacob has successfully stolen his brother's birthright from their father, Isaac, with Esau's threat. Oh, I read that with the punctuation wrong. We're going to start over. Jacob has successfully stolen his brother's birthright from their father, Isaac. With Esau's threat to kill Jacob ringing in her ears, a servant girl runs to Rebekah's tent. And then she said, you know, Esau's going to kill Jacob. And then Rebekah's like, don't repeat what you heard. Just bring Jacob here. You must go away until your brother calms down. Go visit my brother Laban in Haran, and I will let you know when it is safe for you to come home. What will I tell father? Once again, Rebekah paves the way for her favorite son. It's her favorite, but remember what I said earlier. God has said that he hates Esau twice. Once again, Rebekah paves the way for her favorite son, Isaac. Esau's foreign wives are causing trouble. If only Jacob could marry a girl from my own people. Remember how your father's servant found me at my father's house in Haran and brought me to you? Isaac's thoughts go back over the years to the day he first saw Rebekah. He also knows there will be trouble between the sons. He sends for Jacob. Ashamed but frightened by Esau's anger, Jacob comes to his father. You go to your uncle Laban and find a wife from among his family. God bless you, my son. A few hours later at the edge of the camp. Goodbye, Jacob. I'll send word when it's safe for you to come back. My father is old, may never see him again. Esau wants to kill me. You're the only one I will be able to come back to. One punishment for their deceit is that Jacob and Rebekah never see each other again. Traveling farther and further away from his family, Jacob is tortured by loneliness. He especially misses his mother, who's always protected and advised him. As night approaches, Jacob collapses in weariness. That night, he dreams of a shining stairway reaching to heaven. On the stairway, angels go up and down as if bringing help from God. And Jacob hears God speak to him and promising to take care of him and bring him safely home again. The next morning, Jacob wakes up still awed by his dream. Surely God is in this place, and this is the gate of heaven. Jacob realizes the wrong he has done, but he knows that God will help him if he obeys him. Quickly, he turns a stone on end for an altar and worships God. He calls the place Bethel, which means house of God. If God will go with me, I'll be God's man. Jacob goes on his way, a stronger, nobler young man. He is eager to put behind him the dishonesty of his past and to share God's love and care. Broken trust, based on Genesis 29. Maybe those shepherds at the well can help me find my uncle Laban. Can you tell me how to find the chieftain Laban? Laban? Sure. That flock of sheep is his. That's his daughter Rachel with them. She's gorgeous. Quickly, Jacob rolls the stone from the well and helps Rachel water the sheep. When he tells her who he is, she runs to find her father. That night, Laban holds a feast for his nephew Jacob. Leah, the older daughter, serves the food, while Rachel, the younger daughter, listens to Jacob about his home and the long journey to Haran. I'll smoke to that. I always let this fucking thing die. Okay. Oh, excuses only satisfy those who make them. Fuck! Okay. We're composed. Okay. A month later, Laban makes a bargain with Jacob. Well, enough freeloading. If you start working for me... Wait. Yeah, I knew we were... Nope, we're not missing anything. That was right. A month later, Laban makes a bargain with Jacob. Well, enough freeloading. If you start working for me, I'll pay you. What's your price? I'm in love with Rachel. I will work for you for 7 years if I can marry her. That's actually insane. So for 7 years, Jacob takes care of Laban's flocks because he loves Rachel. The years fly by in what seems like just a few days. Finally, the day comes when Jacob can claim his bride. I have worked for 7 years. Now give me Rachel for my wife. You have served me well, Jacob. I'll arrange a wedding feast right away. At the end of a joyful wedding feast, Laban brings his daughter to Jacob. Jacob, here's your bride. Rachel, I've waited 7 years for this moment. Why do I feel like Rachel's about to do something crazy? But in the morning daylight, Jacob discovers Laban pulled a switch. What? You gave me Leah, not Rachel. The trickster has been tricked himself. Laban has conned Jacob the same way Jacob has conned his father and Esau. I couldn't very well give my younger daughter away before my older daughter was married. You may have cheated your older brother out of his birthright, but that's not how we do things here, buddy. But Rachel's the one I loved. I worked 7 years for her. I'll tell you what. Promise to work for me another 7, and you can marry Rachel next week. For Rachel, I'll do it. Laban tricked me, Rachel. I love you, and I'll work 7 more years so I can marry you. I do love you, Jacob, and I want to marry you too. Leaving Laban, based on Genesis 31. So Jacob marries Rachel and begins another 7 years of work for Laban. But God blesses Jacob and makes him rich with his own flocks. One day Jacob calls his wives together. Oh, so we're not divorcing, we're just marrying multiple now. Okay. Have you noticed that your father keeps scowling at me even while he's cheating me? I think it's time to go. God's telling me to return home. Jacob loads everything on camels and herds his flocks together. Soon the caravan's on its way. Laban may follow. So keep watch and tell me if you see him coming. As they travel, Jacob guards the camel, carrying Rachel and her only son Joseph. Jacob's other 10 sons watch with jealous eyes. Without realizing it, Jacob sows seeds of trouble for the son he loves best. Several days after leaving Laban, look, riders, Laban and his men. Quick, tell Jacob. Jacob is ready when his father-in-law arrives. Jacob, why did you leave without giving me a chance to say goodbye? I was afraid you might have kept your daughters from going. Well, you're probably right. But the God of your fathers has told me not to hurt you. Laban is furious, but he doesn't dare go against Jacob's God. So Laban and Jacob set up under a pile of stones to mark a border and make an agreement to go their separate ways. You stay on your side, I'll stay on mine. No, divorce was not a concept then. I realized that registered right after I said it. Divorce! Early, Jacob continues his journey home. On the way, he has a wonderful vision. An army of angels. The army of God is camped beside me. The angels comfort Jacob, but as he gets closer to home, he begins to worry about his brother Esau, who once planned to murder him. Right ahead of me, and I'll look for Esau. Tell him I'm coming home with my family and flocks, and tell him I hope he will forgive me. Jacob waits anxiously for the riders to come back. He remembers the time he lied to his father and stole his brother's blessing, and when Esau threatened to kill him. Finally, the scouts return. We saw Esau. He's coming to meet you with 400 men. All right. So, yeah, he's coming to meet you with 400 men. That's a lot of men. Jacob is frightened, but he is also shrewd. He divides his caravan into 2 parts. Then he sends servants ahead with presents for Esau. If Esau attacks one group, the other can get away. And when we meet Esau, we will give him your generous gifts of goats, camels, cows, and donkeys, and he will be very impressed. So if he's why are you giving him gifts if he's attacking you? Anyway, that night Jacob prays, confessing his sins, admitting his fear, and asking for God's help, but he still cannot sleep. My family would be safer on the other side of the river. So in the middle of the night, Jacob moves his family. You will be safer on the other side, Rachel. I wish you would stay with us. Rachel knows something. But Jacob needs to be alone. Later that night, as he prays, he feels himself wrestling with a mysterious stranger. The struggle's fierce, but Jacob does not give up until the stranger blesses him. Your name will not be Jacob any longer. Instead, you will be Israel, which means God wrestler. Let's marinate on that one for a minute. Israel means God wrestler. So, Israel means God wrestler. The next morning, Jacob is limping because he hurt his hip wrestling with the angel. But Jacob is happy because he knows God has blessed him. Jacob goes confidently to meet his brother Esau. Jacob, my brother, I am happy to see you again. Esau, I'm so glad you don't hate me anymore. Proudly, Jacob presents his family. Well, the one he loves most anyway. This is my wife, Rachel, and my son, Joseph. It's good to see my brother's family. God has really blessed you. Homecoming based on Genesis 35. So pretty much we're gonna go back over what just happened. Isaac gives birth to these two sons, Esau and Jacob, and he's blessed. He's like, pretty much, y'all are gonna lead two great nations. They have now changed Jacob's name to Israel. And Israel means God wrestler. Okay? Are we picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. Based on Genesis 35. After feasting together, the brothers say goodbye. Jacob heads towards his father's home in Hebron. Goodbye, Jacob, and greet my father for me. I will tell him you are doing well. Goodbye, and God bless you, Esau. Sometime later on the way, Jacob stops at Bethel. Rachel, this stone marks the place where I saw angels coming to me from heaven. This is where God promised to take care of me. He has taken care of me more than I deserve. God has been good to us, Jacob. I pray that he will take care of our son Joseph and the child who is soon to be born. Later on the journey, not far from Bethlehem, Rachel's child's born. It's a boy, master, but Rachel is dead. Yeah, Rachel died trying to give birth. That tended to happen a lot back then. Anyway. Yep, it's a boy, master, but Rachel's dead. Oh, little Benjamin! Just completely ignore the fact Rachel's dead. Oh, little Benjamin! You and your brother Joseph are all that remind me of my beloved wife. Jacob buries his treasured wife, Rachel. Then he and his family continue sadly on their journey, stopping now and then to rest and feed the flocks. As they travel on, Jacob wonders, Rachel has died. Okay, so we're just going to ignore Rachel was dead for 3 paragraphs, and now we're coping. Rachel has died. My parents are old. Will I even get to my father while he's still alive? Oh yeah, he's having an existential crisis. Existential crisis in the middle of the desert. Jacob's hand trembles as he shades his eyes and looks towards the distant city of Hebron. Is this where grandfather Isaac lives? Yes, Joseph. I pray we are not too late. He is very old. God answers Jacob's prayers at the sight of his old and blind father. Jacob falls to his knees. Father, I am Jacob, your son. Thank God I am with you again. Jacob, I have prayed for your return. Do you have children now? Proudly, Jacob presents his 12 sons to their father, Isaac. Their grandfather, Isaac. Father, this is Joseph and this is Benjamin, the sons of my beloved Rachel. Be strong, my children, and always obey God. Years later, Isaac goes to be with his God, the God of his fathers. Joseph's dreams, based on Genesis 37, 1-11. When Isaac dies, Jacob takes over as head of the tribe. He said, "Acknowledge me. I am the one tribal chief." Okay. One moment. Can somebody tell me when it's 8 p.m. on the East Coast? Father, my brothers are not working hard today. Joseph snitching already. Joseph, mind your business. Why does he have to tell father? Grow up, Joseph. When Isaac dies, Jacob takes over as head of the tribe. He settles his family in father's land of Canaan. His sons take care of his flocks and sheep. Joseph is a younger son, and he has some news for his father. Okay. Leave Joseph alone. He was good to come and tell me, you all need to work harder. Jacob's especially pleased with his favorite son. He has a special coat made for Joseph. No other brother has such a fine robe. We're showing favoritism. We're showing favoritism. Why does Joseph get such a gift from our father? What a fine coat. That's not fair. Brothers. He's just like, check me out with my cool coat that none of y'all got because I'm the favorite son. Brothers, all he does is tell on us and gets such a reward. Unfair. Listen to this dream I had. We were all binding bunches of grain out in the field. My bundles stood up and all your bundles bowed down to mine. What is he insinuating? Do you think you will reign over us one day? Seriously, brother, are you mad? Ha! You think you will rule over us? Joseph has another dream and approaches his family to tell them about it. Listen up. I had another dream. Oh, this looks like Star Wars. And this time, the sun and the moon and all the stars were bowing down to me. What do you think your mother and I and all your brothers will bow down to you? You are not the firstborn. Don't be silly. I'll never bow down to my little brother. Stop with your dreams, Joseph. Who does this kid think he is? Could these dreams mean something? Could they be from God? Dreamer for sale. Trying to get comfy, it's impossible. All right. Dreamer for sale. Genesis 37:12 through 36. Joseph's dreams have made his brothers hate him, but his father is blind to the danger of their rage. While the older brothers are tending sheep far away in the land of Shechem. What is that word? Deep in the land of Shechem, Jacob sends Joseph to find them. Israel sends Joseph to find them. Remember, Jacob changed his name to Israel. Go check on the flocks and your brothers. Let me know how things are going. Joseph's brothers see him approaching them in the distance and talk of killing him. Here comes our brother, the dreamer. Let's kill him. Then we can throw him down a well and say animals killed him. We'll see how his dreams turn out. Brothers, let's not just kill him. Let's just throw him in the well and leave him. Then I will come back for him and bring him to father. When Joseph arrives, they strip him of his robe and throw him into a dry well. They sit down to eat their supper. Look out there, a caravan. Let's sell Joseph to them. We won't have to kill him and he'll be gone. Agreed. He could tell his dreams to someone else. So Joseph was just like, hey, y'all, I had a little dream. All y'all were my bitches and I was ruling over y'all. And then they're like, okay, well, we got to sell this guy, obviously. Go have those dreams somewhere else, Joseph. Lord. All right. The merchants approach the brothers who pull Joseph out the well. This boy is our slave and he talks too much. Would you like for me to buy him? 20 shekels and he's yours. We will buy him and take him to sell in Egypt. We should get good money for him. Only 20 shekels. Brokish. They sold their brother for 20 shekels. Mind you, this is their brother. Reuben was busy tending to the sheep and wasn't part of the plan to sell Joseph. Where is Joseph and what have you done? He has gone to Egypt where he can't brag of his dreams to us anymore. We sold him. Here's your share of the money. 3 shekels. Yeah. Exactly. And then 20 shekels split between how many people? The brothers take Joseph's coat and rip it. They dip it in animal blood to look like he was killed and bring it back to their father. Look, we found this, father. Look at it to see if it belongs to your favorite son. What is this? Where is Joseph? A wild animal must have killed him. No! While Jacob mourns the death of his beloved son, Joseph is brought to auction in Egypt. What's up, home skillet? Yeah, it's the Action Bible. It was written by somebody that worked for DC and Marvel. Well, illustrated, not written. Yeah. So, Reuben was busy tending to the sheep. You know, they sold his brother. They gave him a couple shekels. They were like, here's your cut. Look at this strong boy. He will make a fine slave. He could even work in the king's palace. Who will bid for him? 25 shekels. 30 shekels. Sold for 30 shekels. Yes, I have made good money today. He flipped that profit. He made a whole fucking 10 shekels profit off Joseph. So here's a map of Joseph's route to Egypt. We went all the way from Egypt through Canaan, Dothan, Shechem, and then we're in Hebron. Well, actually, no. I did that backwards. We went to Hebron, Shechem, Dothan, then Egypt. So now we're in Egypt. Management crisis based on Genesis 39, 1 through 20. Oh God, please help me. How is this in your plan? And so Jacob's favorite son becomes a slave of Potiphar, king of the king's guard, captain of the king's guard. But Joseph does not beg for pity. He puts his trust in God and holds up his head proudly. Soon the spoiled young boy becomes a hard-working young man. Joseph has become my best slave. He doesn't act like a slave. Tell me more about him. Some traders brought him from Canaan. He's strong and intelligent too, and handsome. In the right clothes, he would pass for a prince. Years pass, and Potiphar eventually makes Joseph manager of all his property. Things are better with Joseph in charge. He prays every day, asking his God to help him. But Joseph's success also leads to trouble. Potiphar's wife falls in love with the handsome young slave. One day while Potiphar is away, Joseph, come sit beside me and tell me where you came from and why you are here in Egypt. Thank you, but I have work to finish before Potiphar returns. Fucking Jezebel. Do you always have to think of Potiphar? He's my master. I won't be disloyal to him or disobey my God. Like, what are you talking about, Jezebel? No man can treat me like that and live. She said, off with your head. No man can treat me like that and live. She waits with Joseph's robe in her hands. When Potiphar returns, she greets him with tears in her eyes and a lie on her lips. Your Hebrew slave tried to kiss me. I screamed and left, but he dropped his robe. Here, see it? I'll throw him into prison for this. He said he tried to kiss me and stripped butt naked. Oh my God, I just almost choked on my hair. All right. Yeah, so that's where we're at now. Potiphar's wife is lying. What's her name? Did we have a name for her? No, just Potiphar's wife. Okay. Your Hebrew slave tried to kiss me. I screamed and he left. But he dropped his robe. Here, see it? I'll throw him into prison for this. Look who we have coming to join us in such fancy clothes. When he's been here as long as I have, he'll forget what it's like to wear such nice, clean clothes. Jailhouse shock. Based on Genesis 39:20 through 41:43. All right, jailhouse shock. Falsely accused. Joseph faces his first night in prison, but he is not afraid. He is not alone because God is with him. Everybody prays when they go to jail, man. All right. Joseph prays just as he has done every other night of his life. What God can save him? Leave him alone. He's braver than the rest of us. Oh, of course, it's dead. It's dead. Yeah, so he's braver than the rest of us, broski, bro chacho. Yeah. One long hot day follows another. The prisoners quarrel over food, water, and the best place to sleep. One day, a fight breaks out. Stop it! Fighting won't make life any better. Even in prison, God is with Joseph. Through these trials, God is forcing Joseph to learn patience and leadership. When the keeper of the jail discovers that Joseph maintains peace in the prison, he puts Joseph in charge of the other prisoners. Holy shit! This is why nobody likes you, Joseph, because you kiss ass. One day, the king's baker and butler are thrown into prison for offending the king. Both men have dreams that disturb them and come to Joseph for help. What do you think my dream means? In 3 days, your head will be lifted up, and Pharaoh will give you back your high position. You will be the king's butler again. And please, when my words come true, ask Pharaoh to release me from prison. I am an innocent captive. Now tell me what my dream means, like his. That would be nice. I'm very sorry. Your dream shows that in 3 days, your head will be lifted off. You will be hanged up high by the Pharaoh. Joseph's words come true. 3 days later, one man's executed and the other returns to serve the king. But the butler forgets his promise to put in a good word for Joseph. 2 years go by. One day, Pharaoh summons his butler. No wine for me today. I've had a disturbing dream, and no one in my whole kingdom can tell me what it means. Pharaoh, I know of a Hebrew prisoner who can tell you the meaning. He explained mine. Well, what are you waiting for? The butler wastes no time having Joseph released from prison. Joseph stands before the Pharaoh of Egypt. Is it true you can tell the meaning of dreams? I can't. But God can. Oh, Pharaoh, tell me your dream. I saw 7 fat cows come out of the Nile River. Then I saw 7 skinny cows come up and eat the fat ones. Were they red? God is warning you that there will be 7 years of good crops followed by 7 years of famine. You should appoint a wise officer to store grain during the 7 good years. Then there will be food for everyone during the 7 years of famine. Who is wiser than you, since God is with you? Pharaoh quickly calls the officers of his court. As they watch, he puts his own ring on Joseph's finger. I have put you in charge of all of Egypt as my second in command. Only I, Pharaoh, will be greater than you. Imagine getting promoted from prison to vice president, pretty much. Okay. Yep. All right. The butler wastes no time having Joseph released from prison. Joseph stands before the Pharaoh of Egypt. Oh, we already did that. Pharaoh's man, based on Genesis 41:44 through 42:38. In a single moment, Pharaoh elevates Joseph from prisoner to prime minister. Is that not what I just said? From the throne room, Joseph goes outside, kneels in prayer, thanking God for his protection and guidance. Joseph orders the people to start preparing for the famine. He becomes famous, and everyone rejoices when he marries the beautiful daughter of the priest of On. I am proud to be your wife, Joseph. You have done so much for our people. There's still a lot to do. The good years will pass quickly. All too soon, the bad years begin. As the famine continues, people come from other countries that have run out of food. Only Egypt, warned by God, has stores of grain. People from every country come to Egypt hoping to buy some of the extra food. One day, tribesmen from Canaan enter Joseph's city. Now, what we have learned about Canaan so far is that all the fuckery is coming from Canaan. Yep. In order to buy grain, they appear before the governor of Egypt, and just as Joseph dreamed many years before, they bow before him. My brothers, they do not recognize me after all these years. See, he said, I have a dream, and they said, we're going to ship you off so you could go have those dreams somewhere else. And now look at them. His dream came true. They're all bowing before him. Since his brothers don't recognize him, Joseph wants to find out whether they have learned to be kind and merciful in the years since he's seen them. He decides to test them. You are spies! How is that a test? No, my lord, we are 10 sons of the great chieftain Jacob. He sent us to buy grain. 10 sons? How many more sons does your father had? He had 12. The youngest Benjamin is home with our father, and the other one died long ago. I still say you are spies. Guards, take them to prison. Why should he think we are spies? I don't know, but it was strange that the governor wanted to know how many sons our father had. Hours passed, then days, and the brothers try to understand what has happened. Sorry, I had to switch my Zen. Never once do they suspect that their brother Joseph is the governor of Egypt. So let's backtrack some. We have Jacob, who is Joseph's brother, because remember, no, it was Jacob and Esau. Jacob has changed his name to Israel at this point. So the leader of, they said his sons were going to lead 2 great nations. So one son is now Israel, and the other son is now the ruler of Egypt. These are the 2 great nations that were referenced earlier on. Yep. This must be punishment for what you did to Joseph long ago. You may buy, oh, wait. Hold on. He threw them in prison. Why should he think we're spies? I don't know, but it's weird that he wanted to know how many sons our father had. On the 3rd day, Joseph calls for the brothers to be brought to him. You may buy grain, but to make sure you are not spies, I will hold one of you in prison until you bring your youngest brother to me. Me? In prison? This must be punishment for what we did to Joseph long ago. I told you not to hurt him. Has it taken you all these years to regret the evil that you did that day? Simon is quickly bound and taken back to prison as a hostage. Frightened and eager to leave Egypt, the other brothers hurry to the storehouse to buy grain again. Pay me first, then I'll fill your sacks. Pause. Their grain sacks filled. The brothers leave Egypt at once. But when they get home, they discover their sacks are not only filled with grain, but also with all of their money. Why do you have money in your grain sacks, and where is Simon? The whole trip was very strange. The governor said we were spies. He put us all in prison. Then he released everyone except for Simon. Simon has to stay there until we take Benjamin to Egypt. Take Benjamin to Egypt? Never! I lost Joseph long ago. I'm not about to lose another son. I will not let you take Benjamin. But Father, what about Simon? Yeah, what about Simon? And what about us? If the grain runs out and we have to go back for more, we can't go without Benjamin. The family uses the grain sparingly, but one day Jacob's hungry tribe has to face the truth. The grain is also almost gone. What are we going to do? Bringing Benjamin. Not breaking Benjamin, we're bringing Benjamin. Based on Genesis 43 through 44. Why is my fingertip itching? Jacob, the old chieftain. Hold on. Oh, that's so weird. That hasn't happened in a long time. I get like phantom itches and it feels like my fingertips there when it's not. Okay. Jacob, the old chieftain, faces a hard decision. But why should the governor of Egypt hold Simon in prison until he sees Benjamin? What does he want with my youngest son? Nobody knows, Father, but if I don't go, Simon will die in prison and we will have to starve. So I have to go. Benjamin is right. Then go. But this time, take double the amount of money for grain, take gifts for the governor, and make God be merciful to us. Days later, Jacob's sons lead their pack animals through the gates of the Egyptian city. Don't worry, Benjamin. We'll do everything we can to protect you. I'm not afraid. God will take care of us, just like he does in our fields at home. Is that right? At the brothers' return, Joseph releases Simon from prison. Then he questions Judah. Is your father well? Yes, your excellency. And this is your youngest brother. Yes, this is Benjamin. The sight of his own brother Benjamin reminds Joseph of their mother, who died when Benjamin was born. Suddenly he cannot face his half-brothers, so he turns and leaves the room. What happened? Alone, Joseph conquers the grief that overcame him. Joseph returns to the banquet hall to continue the plan to test his brothers. They are seated and the food is served, but even this is a mystery to them. Do you not notice we are all seated according to age? I tell you, this man knows too much about us. What is he up to? Even as they wonder, the governor has the brothers served. He gives the largest portion to Benjamin. This is a sign of great honor. Do you see that? I hope that means Benjamin is safe. The banquet ends. The next morning, the brothers buy their grain and leave. But they are hardly out of the city before a chariot overtakes them. Stop! One of you has stolen my master's silver cup. Your master's cup? We are innocent. Search us if you want to. If I find the cup, the man whose sack it is in will be severely punished. One by one, the sacks are searched, and at last the officer opens Benjamin's. The cup! I never saw it before. Never. It's a mistake, I tell you. He didn't steal it. My orders are to bring back the man who had the cup. You get in that chariot. All right, we'll go back with you, Benjamin. Back in the city, the brothers faced the angry governor of Egypt. Did you think you could steal from me and get away with it? Ha! Fools. Yeah, so you thought you could steal from our good old buddy and get away with it. No. But I will be merciful. The one who had the cup will be my slave. The rest of you can return to your father. If Benjamin doesn't come home, our father will die of grief. Let me be your slave instead of Benjamin. For a moment, there's silence, and then the governor turns to his guards. Go! Leave me alone with these men! The terrified brothers wait. Finally, Joseph speaks. I can't keep the secret any longer. I am Joseph, your brother, and you sold me as a slave many years ago, and God has blessed me, and now we are together again. Family freaking reunion. Based on Genesis 45 through 47. Joseph's sons are shocked to realize the governor of all Egypt is actually their long-lost brother. Then they remember how they last treated him. Joseph! He must hate us. What will he do now? I believe it was God's will for me to come to Egypt so I could save your lives and the lives of everyone suffering from the famine. We don't deserve God's mercy, Joseph. Could you forgive us? I forgave you all years ago, but I have to be sure you've changed. When you showed your loyalty and love for Benjamin, I knew you had. Look, this famine will last 5 more years. Go home and bring our father to be near me. I will provide for all of you. Thank God for a brother like you. As quickly as they can, Joseph's brothers travel to bring their father good news. Joseph waits impatiently until one day, Excellency, your father and brothers are camped in Goshen. Joseph hurries his chariot and races towards his father's camp. Father, father, my son, God has answered my prayers. Back in the city, Joseph proudly presents his father to Pharaoh, who gives Jacob the best pasture land in all of Egypt. May God bless you for your kindness to us. Oh, it's like, he does have a cone head. Okay. The end of an era, based on Genesis 48 through 50. For 17 years, Jacob and his sons live happily in Egypt, but then one day a messenger brings sad news to Joseph. Remember, Jacob's Israel. So Jacob and his sons live happily in Egypt. Sir, your father is very ill, and he wants you and your sons to come right away. They hurry to Jacob's bedside. Bring your sons to me so I can bless them before I die. May God, who has guided me all of my life, bless my grandsons. Because of the wickedness of his older sons, Jacob gives the family birthright to Joseph and his sons. Remembering how he was the youngest, Jacob crosses his arms when he blesses Manasseh and Ephraim. Ephraim. This gives the larger share of the birthright to the younger Ephraim. Then Jacob calls all his sons to him and blesses them. Jacob dies. His sons carry the old chieftain's body back to the homeland of Canaan. Even after all these years, Joseph was the closest with our father. and we have no way to comfort him. After Jacob's funeral, Joseph walks away from the camp alone, and his brothers watch him in grief. Joseph, you are the head of our tribe now. We will be your slaves if you wish it. No, no. You did evil, but God used it for good. For years, the sons of Jacob live happily in Egypt. God has been good to us, more than we deserve. As long as I live, I'll thank God and seek his forgiveness. When Joseph is very old, he calls his relatives to see him. God will bring you out of this land to the land he gave to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. When you return, take my body with you. I want to be buried in the land of my fathers. Soon after this, Joseph dies. All of Egypt mourns Joseph's death. But as new rulers come to the throne, they forget how Joseph and his God saved Egypt. They only notice how large the tribe of Hebrews has become. Soak that in. This tribe has become massive. Hebrews, massive. Baby in a basket based on Exodus. We are now out of Genesis and we are now starting Exodus. All right. So, I'm going to go till Exodus. The plagues. Yep, we're going to go and we're going to stop at the plagues. Baby in a basket, based on Exodus 1:1 through 2:10. The new Pharaoh in Egypt has forgotten that the Hebrews' ancestor Joseph saved Egypt from famine. From his royal yacht on the Nile, the king frowns as he watches the Hebrew shepherds with their rich flocks. There are too many Hebrews in Egypt. If we had a war, they might turn against us. I must find a way to keep them from causing trouble. Okay, the next day, the king inspects a new building project. We need thousands more workers to get the job done. This sounds like a perfect job for the Hebrews. They will work as slaves. It will save us money, and those foreigners won't be able to cause trouble. So from daylight to dark, Hebrew men and boys are driven from their homes and forced to work under whip-cracking slave drivers. But with God's blessing, the Hebrews flourish and grow stronger even under the harsh conditions. We will work them harder every day. But there are more Hebrews than before. The king will not be happy about this. When Pharaoh hears the report, he calls for the Hebrew midwives, Shiphrah and Puah. As you help these Hebrew women give birth, I want you to kill every boy that is born, but let the girls live. The midwives fear God and do not follow Pharaoh's orders. This is against God. We cannot do this. Pharaoh discovers the midwives are not killing the baby boys and becomes angry. Why have you not done what I commanded? Hi, guitar doll. Welcome. The Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women. They give birth before we arrive. God is kind to the midwives, and they have families of their own. I tell you that every boy who is born is to be thrown into the Nile River, but every girl shall live. The cruel order is carried out. Hebrew mothers and fathers risk their lives to protect their sons, but the king's men never give up on their search. Night after night, Amram, a Hebrew from the tribe of Levi, from the tribe of Levi, hurries home from work, afraid that the soldiers had visited his home. Oh God, help us keep our new baby boy safe from the Egyptians. There's Miriam. The soldiers must not have come. Quickly, Amram enters the house and bolts the door. Surely God is with us. Our baby is 3 months old, and still Pharaoh's soldiers have not found him. God will help me find a way to save our son. The next day, Jochebed prepares a little basket. Keep watch, Miriam. I'm almost finished. Then, carefully avoiding the Egyptian soldiers, she takes the basket and her tiny son to the river. His basket will float like a little boat. Keep watch over him, Miriam. Oh, my son, it tears my heart away to send you away. May God watch over you and protect you. Miriam hides in the bushes, in the bulrushes, and watches. The princess, will she see the baby's basket? Look, what a strange little basket. I wonder what's inside it. It's a baby. The maid brings the basket to the princess, who opens it. A Hebrew baby. Listen to him cry. We have to find someone to feed and care for him. Just then, Miriam steps out of the bushes. Shall I find a Hebrew nurse for the baby? Yes, bring one to me as soon as you can. Mother, come right away. The princess has found our baby, and she wants a Hebrew nurse to take care of him. God has answered my prayer, Miriam. My son will be safe with the princess. Take care of this baby and care for him. If anyone questions you, send word to me at once. I'm naming him Moses because I pulled him out the water. Moses. That's Moses. That's baby Moses. At the river's edge. Okay. Prince on the Run, based on Exodus 2. So the Hebrew baby is returned to his own home. But now, under the protection of the king's daughter that night, Amram and Jochebed gather Moses with his sister Miriam and brother Aaron. They kneel and pray. Oh God, we thank you for saving our little son. Help us to train him to serve you. Young Moses lives in his home until he's about 4 years old. Then his mother takes him to the palace to live with the princess who adopts him. Years pass, and the boy Moses lives the life of a young princess at Pharaoh's palace. One day, he drives through the city to a place where Hebrew slaves are working. As he watches the slaves toil, he is startled by a man's scream. Moses jumps from his chariot to investigate and finds an Egyptian guard beating a Hebrew slave. In sudden anger, Moses strikes out hard. Look, he killed the guard. The next day, Moses returns. When he sees two Hebrews fighting, he tries to stop them. Don't fight each other, idiots. Who made you a judge over us? Are you going to kill me the way you killed that Egyptian? People know I have killed a man. There's only one thing I can do, and I have to do it now. Kill everybody. Later that day in the palace, Prince Moses killed an Egyptian guard for beating a Hebrew slave. Find the traitor and kill him. But Pharaoh's orders come too late. Moses has a head start on the soldiers who chase him. He escapes. And after a long, hard ride, he reaches the land of Midian. So, we're in Egypt. Now we're down to Midian. So, boop. South of the Nile. All right. Tired after his flight from Pharaoh, Moses rests by a well. Get away from here until we water our sheep. No, we're here first. You leave us alone. I think you should let the women go first. After all, that's the civilized thing to do. The cowardly shepherds retreat, and Moses helps the women water their flocks. When the women return to their camp, one of them tells her father what happened at the well. A man saved you, and you came straight home. Why didn't any of you ask him to dinner? I am Zipporah. My father Jethro invites you to eat with us. Moses accepts the invitation, and that night after supper, I need a good shepherd, a good man I can trust. Why don't you stay with us? Thank you, I will. This will be a good place to hide from Pharaoh. A burning bush. Based on Exodus 2:21 through 4:17. This is a good one. This one gets referenced a lot, so pay attention. All right. Gershom handles his sling very well. He'll make a good shepherd like his father. Moses stays weeks and then months, and then he marries Zipporah, and they have 2 sons. Moses works as a shepherd for his father-in-law for 40 years. Year after year, the flocks of Jethro increase, but one year, the grasses dry up. And Moses leads his sheep up to pastures near the mountain of Sinai. But even after all these years, Moses cannot forget the Hebrew people in Egypt. I wonder if Pharaoh is still alive and what has become of my sister Miriam and my brother Aaron. Moses wonders too about the Hebrew slaves still struggling under the whips of Egyptian rulers. One day, he looks up to see a strange sight on Mount Sinai. A bush on fire, yet it's not burning up. He steps closer and then stops. A voice comes out from the fiery bush and calls out, Moses! I'm here. Once again, Moses starts towards the bush, but the same voice warns him, don't come any nearer. Take off your shoes because you are standing on holy ground. I am the God of your father and the God of your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Moses hides his face in fear at being addressed by the one true God. I have seen my people suffer in Egypt. I have come down to save them. I want you to bring them out of that land. Then you will lead them with a new home, a land flowing with milk and honey. Now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh. Who am I to speak to Pharaoh of Egypt? Who am I to lead the Hebrews? I am not a leader. I am your leader, and I am with you. Believe me that you and the Israelites will come to worship me on this very mountain. I am not a prophet or a priest. What if they ask me your name? I am who I am, and I will perform my wonders against the Egyptians. What if they don't believe me? Then throw your staff on the ground. Moses' staff immediately turns into a venomous snake, and he runs in terror. God calls Moses to come back. Then he tells Moses to pick up the snake. Trembling at the power of God, Moses obeys. The Lord has given Moses the power to do this miracle and 2 others so he can make the people believe. Still, Moses is afraid. I am not a good speaker. I cannot do this job. But God is tired of Moses' excuses. See, what I say earlier, excuses only satisfy those who make them. I made your mouth, didn't I? I made you speak with it too, but very well. I am sending your brother Aaron to meet you. I will help you both speak. Now go. Spokesman for God, based on Exodus 4:27 through 7:11. So that burning bush was God. The burning bush was God speaking to Moses, saying, hey, Moses, I'm going to make you a leader. And Moses is like, oh, I can't be a leader. But God's like, yeah, you can. And you will be. Anyway, meantime, in the slave huts of Egypt, the Hebrews are crying out to God to help them. While Aaron, the brother of Moses, this bad habit. Every time I see Aaron spelt like that, I just want to say Aaron. The brother of Moses is praying. God speaks to him. Go into the wilderness to meet Moses. I'm sorry, but if I'm praying and God just randomly tells me to go into the wilderness, I'd probably do it. Actually. Aaron is surprised at the strange command, but unlike Moses, he obeys without complaint. He heads out into the wilderness. Hello. Yes, this is the Action Bible. Oh, okay, there's Sir Hellbaum. So yeah, Aaron eventually ends up at Mount Sinai. Moses is waiting for him. I don't even know where in the wilderness Moses is, and I hope I'm going the right way. Brother, I've been watching for you. God told me you would come. Quickly, Moses explains that God has called them to lead the Hebrews out of slavery in Egypt, and they travel together to talk to the elders of Israel in Egypt. Moses performs the miracles God gave him, and the elders believe. Tomorrow, we'll take God's message to Pharaoh. You'll do all the talking, right, Aaron? I'm just here for moral support. You're the one that knows Egyptian politics. Right? Oh, man. Yeah, I see. I thought you were drunk the other night, but I see it's just your keyboard's fucked up. Do you need another keyboard? Aaron is surprised at the... okay, anyway. Yeah. Stop interrupting me, bomb. Moses explains that God has called them to lead. But, yeah, seriously, do you need another keyboard? Yes or no? The Lord, the God of Israel, sent me to tell you this. Let my people go. That's the first time I've seen you type in chat. Yes, this is Moses. So he said, he sent me to tell you, let my people go so they can worship me in the desert. I don't know your Lord, and I certainly don't have to obey him. Now get back to work. You lazy slaves think you can tell me what to do? I'm going to show you who's boss. New orders from Pharaoh. We have coddled you too much. From now on, we won't be providing you with straws to make your bricks. You'll have to cut your own from the fields. And you still must make 50 bricks each day. Why aren't you meeting your quota, you lazy Hebrews? You didn't make enough bricks yesterday either. This is all the straw I could find. I'm trying, it's not fair to ask the same amount of bricks when we have to do twice the amount of work. The Hebrew leaders complained to Moses. May God punish you for this. You have made us loathsome to Pharaoh, and now he's trying to kill us all. I'm only doing what God told me to do. The Israelites no longer believe Moses, and when he complains to God, God only tells him to visit Pharaoh again. Through Moses is sure Pharaoh will not listen to him. He obeys. Have you come back to beg for mercy? No, but to show you the power of our God. Aaron throws his staff to the ground where it transforms into a serpent. Very clever. My magicians can do the same thing. The plagues. Based on Exodus 7:12 through 10:20. While Pharaoh watches, the serpent of Aaron swallows the serpents of the Egyptian magicians. Though disappointed, Pharaoh refuses to admit Moses' God is more powerful than the gods of Egypt. Again, Moses asks for God's help, and again God tells him what to do. In the morning, Moses and Aaron meet Pharaoh on the bank of the Nile River. Don't you have anything better to do than bother me during my morning bath? Because you won't let the Hebrews go, the river will be turned to blood. Oh, hi, Queebe. At Moses' command, Aaron strikes the water with his rod, and the water turns red. My sorcerers can do the same thing. If they're such great sorcerers, why don't they turn the Nile back into water? Because this they cannot do. And the Nile remains blood for 7 days. The Egyptian women are unable to wash their clothes in the bloody river. Men have to dig wells to find drinking water. Finally, the river is clear again, but still, Pharaoh will not listen to Moses' plea, and so God sends a different plague. Hello. Frogs! Millions of them everywhere. And in Egyptian homes. Eek! My flower is ruined. Even in the palace. I can't stand these filthy creatures. Send for Moses and Aaron. Ask your God to take away the frogs, and I will let the Hebrews go. It will be as you say. But when the frogs are gone, Pharaoh breaks his promise, so God proceeds with his next wonder. God torments the Egyptians with a plague of gnats. They infest everything. The Egyptians can't get them out of their houses, their hair, even their beds. Pharaoh tries to bargain with Moses, but Moses stands firm in his request. Once again, Pharaoh promises to free the Hebrews, but when the gnats are gone, he hardens his heart again. See, he's playing. He is playing with the man. As if the gnats weren't bad enough, God follows them with a plague of flies. Flies are in everything. The Egyptians can't keep them off their food or their faces. But no flies trouble the Hebrews in Goshen. Can't you worship your God here? No. Okay, you can go. But, like before, Pharaoh changes his mind, and then God sends disease upon the Egyptians' animals and livestock. Many of them die. But Pharaoh's heart is unyielding. Why is this man so goddamn stubborn? Okay. God gives Moses his next instructions. Like, it's getting worse. You don't see it's, like, progressively getting worse, Pharaoh. God gives Moses his next instructions. He and Aaron interrupt Pharaoh's court and throw soot in the air. Immediately, Pharaoh and his advisors break out in painful sores and boils. The rest of Egypt is struck with the same disease as well, but Pharaoh stubbornly refuses to recognize God's power and authority. That's right. Free. No. Father, why were the slave drivers so cruel today? They are always cruel, son. But right now, they are angry to be suffering from terrible boils while we remain healthy and strong. Still, Pharaoh keeps the Hebrews in Egypt. So a terrible storm strikes. Hailstones as big as my fist. Throughout the land, the Egyptian farmers watch the storm with terror. Our crops are ruined, but no hail falls in Goshen where the Hebrews live. Pharaoh calls Moses to him. I have sinned, the Lord is right, and I am wrong. Pray to the Lord for us. We have had enough of the hail, and I will let you go. But just like every other time, once the plague is lifted, this damn Pharaoh changes his mind. Because he's just not had enough yet. He's just testing God. How long will you refuse to humble yourself? Let my people go, or I will send locusts to destroy anything that is left in this land. Pharaoh's advisors agree with Moses. Please, just let the Hebrews go already. Don't you realize that these plagues have left Egypt in ruins? Already it will take us years to recover from them. See, they're all covered in boils and shit. Begrudgingly, Pharaoh calls back Moses to him. Fine, go worship your Lord. Who were you planning on taking? We will take our young and our old, our sons and our daughters, our flocks and our herds. Ha ha, no, just the men. Locusts it is. I'm fed up with Pharaoh. Because what? God sends locusts which devour anything that wasn't destroyed by the hailstorm. Then when Pharaoh's heart remains hardened against the Israelites, God makes the day as dark as night. The final plague. Based on Exodus 10:21 through 12:51. After 3 days of darkness, Pharaoh calls for Moses and Aaron again. Then you'll all... fine. You may take your women and children, but your sheep and your cattle must remain in Egypt. No, we won't leave a single hoof behind when we go. Then you'll all stay right where you are. Get out of my sight. If I see your face again, you will die." But Moses is no longer afraid of Pharaoh. Oh, no, no. That's what you say? Well, here's what the Lord says. "Tonight, every firstborn son in Egypt will die, including yours. Oh, Pharaoh, you will know grief worse than any Egypt has ever experienced. Then you will come to me on your hands and your knees, and you will beg for my people to leave." Quickly, Moses calls for a meeting of the Hebrew leaders. "God told me that death will strike Egypt and take the firstborn of every family." The firstborn of every family? Moses instructs the Hebrews on how to protect their families. It's God, bro. Like, lock your doors all you want. "Surely this will bring our release from slavery. 9 times Pharaoh has broken his promise to let us go. What will he do this time? Why are you putting lamb's blood on our doorpost?" God told Moses it would be a sign to let death know to pass our house. That evening, every Hebrew family packs all their possessions, hoping that they will finally be able to leave Egypt. They eat a meal called the Passover because death will pass over their homes. Just before midnight, what is it? I have no idea. What is it, Mommy? It is God's destroyer. Come away from the window. No, help! Then at the stroke of midnight, the Lord strikes down all the firstborn of Egypt, but every Hebrew house with lamb's blood on the door is passed over. God will give us the signal to leave any moment now. We must be prepared to leave at a moment's notice. Be ready for the signal to march. In the palace, "Oh, son, oh, Pharaoh, your son is dead." And messengers bring word that the firstborn of every Egyptian household has died tonight. Suddenly, "My son, summon Moses and Aaron to come to me immediately. It's too late. My son is dead." This time, Pharaoh does not bargain about cattle or sheep. You serve your God as you wish. Take your people, take your cattle, and get out of Egypt. Finally, this stubborn son of a bitch. Okay. Moses gives the order to march. Okay, yep. So Moses gives the order to march. Immediately, the slaves rush out from their homes and meet at a camp in the country. "We're free! We're free! Thank God, my children will not be slaves in Egypt." 20,000 Egyptians under the sea. Based on Exodus 13:17 through 15:21. Oh, is this where he parts the waters? Yes. Okay, we're going to finish that story. And then the complaining begins. Okay. 20,000 Egyptians under the sea, based on Exodus 3:17 through 15:21. The next day, the great exodus from Egypt is underway. Joyfully, the Hebrews march toward the land God promised would be their home. During the day, a bright cloud guides them, and at night, a pillar of fire leads them. In their rush for freedom, they do not forget to take with them the body of their ancestor Joseph. Joseph knew God would be with us. He was a great man in Egypt, but he wanted to be buried in his own land. Our people promised to carry Joseph out of Egypt. After several days of travel, the Hebrews reached the Red Sea. The sea is in front of us. Meanwhile, back at the Pharaoh's palace, it was a mistake to let those Hebrew slaves go. Who will do our work for us now? It isn't too late. Look, Pharaoh commands that every single chariot and soldier pursue the Hebrews into the desert toward the Red Sea. Oh. They're wandering around like lost sheep. The route they took will lead them into this trap. So much for their brilliant and powerful God. Muster up every chariot in my army. Those slaves will soon be back at work making more bricks than ever. So Pharaoh commands every single chariot and soldier pursue the Hebrews toward the Red Sea. Pharaoh's army soon reaches the camp of the Hebrews. Look, here comes the Egyptian army. We can't escape now. It's your fault, Moses. We're trapped. There were no graves in Egypt, so you had to bring us to the desert to die. Hey, Mystery Help On. Pharaoh and his army look at the Hebrews camped beside the Red Sea. Good. They'll soon see who's mightier, Pharaoh or the God that they worship. Trapped, just as I said. I'd rather be an Egyptian slave than die this way. At the same time in the Hebrew camp, don't be afraid. After today, you will never see these Egyptians again. The Lord will fight on our behalf. Just be still and see what God is going to do. As Moses speaks, the cloud that leads them moves to the back of the camp. What's happening? Look, the cloud's now hiding us from the Egyptians. Then Moses holds out his staff towards the Red Sea as God told him to do. A strong east wind blows all night and rolls back the waters of the sea. Awed by the sight, the Hebrews rush, thankfully, across the path in the sea. It is not until the next morning that the cloud clears from in front of the Egyptians. When Pharaoh sees that the Hebrews are getting away, he orders all his troops to chase after them. As the army races across the sea floor, sand clogs their chariot wheels. As God commands him, Moses puts out his hand again. Suddenly the winds die and the waters roll back into place. All of the Pharaoh's men are caught in the rushing sea. Safe on the other side, the Hebrews look back. God has saved us. I'll never doubt again that God sent Moses to save us from the Egyptians. Joyfully, the Hebrews celebrate God's deliverance. The tribes descended from Jacob, Israel, are a free people, and they're ready to form a new nation. Miriam, Moses' sister, takes a tambourine and leads all the women in song and celebration. The Lord is my strength and my song. He is my salvation. Sing praise to the Holy One. Praise God. Sing to the Lord on high. He has saved us all. The complaining begins. All right. See, now they're calling Jacob Israel. Because remember that angel that showed up to him in the middle of the night was like, oh, your name's Israel, by the way. Now they're referring to him by his name. Okay. The complaining begins based on Exodus 15:22 through 17:7, chapter 17, verse 7. We have studied the absolute crap out this Bible today. Tell you what, it was 2 hours of reading. We made it from Genesis to Exodus today. Insane. What time is it on the East Coast? I can never remember if y'all are like an hour. Yep, okay, that's in 10 minutes. Alright, so we're going to stop right here. The complaining begins. We'll pick up here next Sunday. Look at how much we've gotten through. It's good. That's a good amount. Yeah. It's a lot. So we're going to bookmark this right here. We're going to come back to this. What's coming up next is my best friend, my bestest friend from first grade is going to play some games with me. Like me and this girl used to play Crash Bandicoot when we were 6 years old. So that's pretty exciting. So yeah, me and her are about to game together. That's the best insult I've ever seen. That's tier 1, tier 1. Oh, man. Okay, so yeah. My best friend from first grade is about to play some games with me. So, we'll pick up on the Bible study next Sunday. You know, we do Bible study every Sunday now. My lips look freaking luscious. Oh, that's probably why that mouse doesn't work, because it's on a different computer. Okay. We stopped at Exodus 15. Sorry. Trying to make sure I get it marked. 15:22. All right, thank you. Okay, I'm logging off and I'll be back in like 30 minutes.